Now, sometimes I'll get on my RD400 and just go for a little cruise, nothing special. Doesn't have to be a long day, could be a short day, a medium day. But I'll fantasize about all the things that I've enjoyed over my lifetime. Most of them happened when I was a lot younger, but they still happen now. And I still get out on this bike on a regular basis, burn up the two-stroke oil, make the neighbors think I'm crazy, smoking up the neighborhood. And wherever we go with this bike, it's just uncommon. You park the bike, even at a big dealer, and everybody wants to run over and look at the two-stroke.
Oh, the smell of two-stroke oil, oh, brings me back to my wayward youth.
Always one of the great memories I have of my RD. Years and years ago, we used to meet up at the train station. There's a little coffee shop by the train station. That was our meetup spot back then, and we would meet up with the two-strokes, among other things. And when a train would go by and people would get off the train, you'd see them oogling the bike and checking it out. Even the engineer in a train sometime would look out and wave or blow the whistle or something. That an awful lot of people look back at this time, or look back at that motorcycle, and no, that's not a modern bike. There's not a lot of flat black plastic all over the place and an exhaust system that isn't polished. That is typically a 70s bike. Being honest, I have run into a lot of people at motorcycle meets and such that have never ridden a two-stroke and have no idea what the attraction is. And they've grown up with more modern bikes, heavier bikes, bikes with electric starters. And anytime they get to experience an older two-stroke, this is a 1977, one of the first comments is, wow, it's so light and nimble. Oh, wow. And a lot of people, even people that are riding 600 sport bikes, this feels like half the weight of a 600 sport bike. And you can put your feet on the ground, your heels on the ground when you come up to a light. And the bars are comfortable. You can go for a real ride. And I have heard the argument that that seat is in a tie with the GS 1100E for the most comfortable seat in motorcycling. I spent a lot of time restoring this, polishing the engine, doing everything, painting the wheels, and trying to get as many spare parts as I could, because the reality is, as time is going by, the spare parts are getting harder and harder to get. Although this is probably the king of bikes that you can still get parts for after they're 40 years old. This bike is probably the king. You can get almost every part. As I always do, I always try to take some part of every ride and just cruise and enjoy the scenery, enjoy the smell of the two-stroke oil and the sound of that engine going through the gear. And I feel really, really lucky to live in a part of the country in northern New Jersey where there's such a variety of roads. You can be on the back roads, turn around, you're in the middle of a populated area. Go a couple miles south, you're in a city area. You get by the reservoirs, the lakes, back roads like this. There's just it's beautiful variety of roads all year long. Now, one of the memories I always have of being younger, of course, and in the 70s, coming home from work or some activity, shopping, whatever, and just jumping on a bike and going for a ride. It was just such a, I don't know, like, I don't do that anymore. I plan my rides out in basically half-day increments, but I don't just jump on a bike and go around a corner anymore. I don't know why, but the two-stroke makes you want to do that. I don't know what there is about it. It draws you in. You go around the block, and all of a sudden you want to be on a bike for the rest of the day. It has done that to me many times. I've gone out for rides where I said, yeah, I have to be back by this time or that time, and look at my watch and it's 2 hours later, and the only thing kept me aware at the time was that basically have to put the bike on reserve. But anyway, this is a very special bike, and for me, it always reminds me of a very special time in my life, and maybe of your life too. And I can remember another thing. Many times when I was a lot younger, I'd go on these all-day rides, have to fill up the gas tank 2 or 3 times, and go to Loudon, go to Lake George area, and always have that thing of two-stroke oil strapped to the back of the seat. Now I just fill it up when I leave the house, and I haven't been able, realistically, to empty the tank yet. And just like when I was younger, the routine never changes. You get off the bike, you look around, and you can't believe the whole day just went by without a hitch. Time seems to go pretty fast when you're on an RD, actually on any motorcycle. And I look back at the time polishing this engine. I spent a lot of hours of winter when it was snowing out polishing, and but boy, do I love looking at my reflection in it now, especially after a long ride. And as always, 2 things you never forget with a two-stroke. An RD, you got to shut the gas off manually. No vacuum. They didn't invent that yet. And of course, you got to fill the oil tank. But if you keep the oil tank full and you keep the fuel tank full, there's a reward you can't explain to people that ride modern bikes. It is a time machine, and it makes an old man feel very, very young. Now, if you're new to our channel, we have a very, very eclectic channel. One of the new features we have now is some of the videos are grouped into groups that you can access all the videos for one category in one mouse click. And it should be very convenient and very handy. Just check out the feature on the main screen playlist. And thanks to everybody for supporting the channel. We appreciate your support, and it makes this channel possible with all the things we do. The painting, the wheels, the polishing. And please take a second or two and hit the like button. and thanks everyone for watching.